if I find my way home, yeah. Hey, wouldn't it be crazy?
Wilson was maybe the main reason we won the game. When you look at it, you know, I think we scored the last 10 points in regulation at the end of the game. And I think when you really zoom in and you look at the plays, you look at the plays that Wilson was making, and we were comfortable, you know, having him on DeRozan. I thought he did a good job on a bunch of different people. But in general, when you go back and you see Wilson Chandler play tonight defensively, he was great on a bunch of people, and I trusted the physicality that he brought to the table.
You're down 8 with 2 and change to play. How were you able to come back and win?
Defense, you know, like they didn't score a point from that point on. They didn't score a point. And I think, like, when you go back at it, you know, Ben had a steal for a dunk. Shamet hits the corner 3. We run a play that we sort of saved for the end with JJ, and, you know, ends up getting a 3 and fouled. But it was all sort of stemmed. It all sort of stemmed from our defense.
This entire season, you've always focused on the defensive end of the floor. So when you're watching that and those final minutes, and the reason you win the game is defense, and it's all coming together, what's going through your mind?
I mean, I think that we're playing good defense lately. I feel like we did against Houston. I thought at times tonight, more evident the last few minutes. I think we had 6 stops, consecutive stops in a row. I mean, how about Joel's block during one of those series of stops? But I feel like we're coming together defensively. There were times tonight I thought we lapses. Some of those, you know, younger players got the better of us, and they found open space for threes. But I tell you what, when it mattered and when it mattered most, defensively, we were there.
About Landry at the end, how impressive have you been with just his continuous growth and everything that you've seen from him?
I mean, he really has a, and I think some of it's because he's been rewarded so much. He's got an ability to sprint to a corner, find his feet, catch and shoot a corner 3 that the whole league rates as hot. Nobody's, you know, allowed to shoot corner 3s for the reasons we all know. And he still finds his feet, he still finds his spot, he still takes off as an athlete, and then he gets it off. And he's done that time and time again. He hunts corner 3s, and he did it tonight, and it just was really timely when he found that open spot and made that open shot.
After the game, Joel said the back does limit him a little bit, points in the game. To go 33 and 19, and he said, my teammates need me.
Yeah.
These big moments, what does that say about him?
I mean, it was just one of those things at the start of the, we have shoot around down here, and so when you're going through it with Joel, you know, how you feeling, what are you thinking? You know, he looks around, he understands Ben missed practice yesterday and was questionable at that stage, and Jimmy is out. And to Joel's credit, you know, he just felt the responsibility to play. I mean, he didn't say it in the words I just said it, but he said it. And I think again, to his credit, he just, I think, is starting to, you know, get older and feel the weight of the responsibility, understand, like, his role in all of this, the growth of all of this, the ownership in all of this. He's really, I think, getting older in so many ways before all of our eyes.
Brett, you went for a stretch in the middle of the fourth quarter without Joel and Ben, and I believe JJ as well. Was that just, did you feel they were fatigued?
I did.
Like, what were you
And I hate doing that, but I did, and we're aware of it. And I thought that, you know, with Joel, you're looking up, there was a few trips that he made that I wanted to get him out a little bit earlier than I normally do to bring him back. But the decision to do that as a group is painful. And you just had a gut feel like you needed some juice at the end. And, you know, fortunately it came good. Without Jimmy, you do struggle at times finding a symmetry with the normal substitution patterns that we have. But we did it. It was something that we were all aware of. It was for a minute and 30 seconds or 20 seconds. It wasn't for a long time, but enough for you to ask that question and enough for me to feel it too. Yeah.
Were you worried when you guys went down 8 with 2 and change to play? Were you worried like that was where you lost the game right there?
I didn't feel it as dramatically as you just said. I didn't. Did I like doing it? Not really. I felt that we were just, you know, running out of some juice. I wanted to save it for the end. And so that's what we did, and it came good. And so we'll leave it at that.
You said after the Oklahoma City game, you thought maybe you might have wanted to do something differently on the George shot. Did you guys do anything differently on that last play tonight?
It's always on. You have a decision. Like, you got Corey Brewer at the line, and we know Pop has 2 timeouts. You know, and it's at that stage, it's just a 1-point game, and so all things go through your mind. Like, you know, do you miss it? No, that's not smart at all. With 2 timeouts and only a 1-point game, you can crash Joe. Like, if Corey had missed that second one, I don't know, because I think they're going to call a timeout no matter what. And so then you come back down to the other end of the floor, and it's 1.1 seconds. And we talked, it's always a decision, what do you do with the person on the ball? Because there are parts of the floor that, as you study that volume of time, it's prevalent up a strong side alleyway. Like, people get shots up that alleyway in the strong side corner, or they get them at the rim. Not many shots, you know, are found on that other side of the floor. And so with that time, which is different than the Paul George time frame, Paul still could have got that shot off with 1.1. But in general, that floor spot that I just mentioned in the rim are the things that you are most worried about. Now to your question, did we do anything different? Yes, we did. We talk lots about, you know, switching up, switching more aggressively, and we talk lots about the guy on the ball, I think, in the detail that we needed to.
It seems like you've gotten to that play that JJ and Ben rather frequently at the end of games. I think you called it twice in a row tonight.
Yeah.
Christmas Day comes to mind.
Yeah.
What do you like about that in late game situation?
Yes. And the Christmas Day one was, you know, we all stepped back and why wouldn't you give it to Joel or whatever? We've had success with the play, you know, and it's never as perfect as you hoped, but tonight it was. And what happens is there is complete confusion a lot of times when JJ comes up. Is he going to set a screen? 1. Is he going to slip the screen? 2. Is he going to, like, fake set the screen and just come behind Ben Simmons as he did in Boston for a wide open shot? And then it's got legs behind it where you've seen the continuity of the action that we have with Joel. And really, if you study the last 2 times that we ran that, JJ had a 4-point play. Ben chose not to go to JJ and called Joel up. And Joel really, I mean, I think it was White, had made a hell of a play. Oh, he had a dunk. We would have scored twice out of that. But we go to it for those reasons. When you have somebody like, you know, Steph Curry, JJ Redick, the great shooters that are now participatory in screen setting, it's confusing. You know, switch it, slip it, come behind it, for the reasons that I just said.
Coach, you mentioned in your thought process, thinking about different things. This is obviously a much different San Antonio team than you're used to. But does your familiarity with Pop make it easier or harder to coach defensively in the last couple minutes of a ball game like this?
I don't think it makes it any easier. You know, I really don't. I think, you know, they came out, they ran an ATO that stung us, that dump it into the post and then back screen the trail, and they got an easy layup. We've seen that. Those things hurt. But in general, you know, the stuff that they were running at the end, we've scouted them enough. I've seen them enough. I've been in the league a long time to get what LaMarcus is and DeRozan is, and Pop's, you know, excellent at, like, putting them right where they should be placed. But in relation to special plays or things like that, I can't say that I feel like I have an advantage.
Wilson began the season with an injury. At what point did you think you kind of settled in with the group as far as what he contributed?
I mean, I put a lot of belief that his confidence went to another place when I put him at a wing. And I think he found a new toy. I think he found a new place on the court. And I think that his confidence just went to a new place. And it was surprising because the spot that we had him in, I think he's excellent at it, and it's true he can play a wing, but he really has found more ways to get involved as a wing, and I think that that has spilt over into some other areas. I do believe that his health is better than it's ever been, and I think that somewhere in the middle of those two reasons might be the answer that he gives you if you ask him that question.
So different at the 3 and 4.
What's that?
So play calls are so different at the 3 and 4. Or are you surprised by how Wilson's been able to go in between the two?
I am. I think it's the hardest transition for players because by and large, you know, you got a set of trail big, rim run big, then you got your two wings, and very rarely is there symmetry in forget me. I think everybody's program that you can jump out. 2s and 3s, 3s and 2s, same. 4s and 5s, 4s and 5s, 5s and 4s, kind of same. When you jump a fence and you go from bigs to wings, oftentimes the structure is very different. And it's tormenting at times when people have to, drown yourself thinking all the time. That's not how you want to play basketball. And he's so prideful, it's natural that he does that. And so I think that he's getting a better feeling of walking those two worlds and therefore more confident.
Considering you're going on the road for 4 now, how important was getting this one tonight going out west?
I mean, I don't even go there anymore. I really don't. I don't live there. I think all games sort of have their own life. I think there's a reality lately that personally I'm in that you're trying to just grow a program and grow a team and let's talk when it starts to get into close to playoffs. And I can tell you, the rhythm that we're in, where are we at with the substitution pattern or play calls or whatever. So to over-dramatize the importance of this game because we're getting on a plane is not on my mind. Thanks, everybody.
For either one of you two gentlemen that finished the game with a 10-0 run after San Antonio seemingly had the game in there. Just answer that like that. How impressive was that for your scoring?
I just thought we played with a real sense of desperation those last few minutes, whether it was loose balls, creating turnovers, getting out in transition, making threes, missing threes, getting offensive rebounds. We were just really desperate, and fortunately to make enough plays to win.
JJ, on the 4-point play there at the end, Brett says he likes going to that at the end of games because I guess there's sort of an unpredictability of different things you can do as a screen setter coming off of that.
Yeah.
Can you take us through those last two situations?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I screen for Ben on the ball just randomly. We had done that a few times earlier in the game. They hadn't switched, and Ben had come off and either scored a layup or got into the rim and got fouled. And so on this one, they called switch, but it was just a little late. And Rudy was, I originally had set the screen on Rudy, and whoever's guarding me called the switch late, and I just got a little bit of separation. But that's just, again, it's a read, and we very well could do 2 or 3 things out of that, and then there's a secondary action after that. So it's a nice continuous play that gives us a bunch of options, and it's me, Joe, or Ben, in that action.
How did it feel leaving your hand, 4-point play?
I didn't really see it. As soon as I shot it, I just was trying to figure out a way to land and not sprain my ankle, to be honest with you. So I didn't even really see it go in.
Either of you, but how impressive has Landry really been, the shot-making ability, as a rookie, just continuing to show the growth?
You got it, that's your rook.
That is my rook. No, I mean, I say it all the time. Like, he is a grown-up. He's not your typical rookie. He's got a man's demeanor, a man's poise. He's got a lot of confidence in himself, a quiet confidence, but he's got a lot of confidence in himself, and it's fun to see a guy who's 21 years old and is already basically a pro. I mean, he acts like a pro. He plays like a pro. He was huge for us down the stretch tonight with big plays. His own 4-point play, hit another big one. He's just fantastic for us.
A number of times when the Spurs tried to pull away, you guys answered back time and again, especially in that last 10 points as well. Mm-hmm. Overall, think about that ability of the team to just answer when it seemed like they were going to try and make a run and trying to get away.
I think for us, we just had to stay calm and make plays defensively and offensively. I think offensively, JJ made big plays. Joel, Landry down the stretch. And then defensively, obviously, Wilson had that huge block. And our communication was great towards the end of the game.
Is that kind of effort just an indication of just this team knowing that they have guys that can go to and guys that can step up and make plays, either whether it's offensively and defensively right now?
Definitely. I mean, when everyone's really stepping up, when you have guys like Landry who, they're put into a funny position where, you have to come into the game, try and do what JJ's doing similar. It's tough, but I think, guys are just getting more confidence in their ability, and, we're all trusting each other for each one of us to do our job the right way. But I think we're just stepping up. We're learning, and everyone's really getting better.
What you guys, what are your impressions for units last week plus? What do you think is that?
Corey's been great. Again, he's a pro, and he's an energy guy. He's just given us a real lift when we've needed it. He's been fantastic. I don't know what's going on with the 10-day, but hopefully he's back for another one.
How much of an effort was it defensively tonight? I mean, they put a lot of pressure on you guys, pick and roll, their outside shooting. How much of an effort just was it kind of hanging with that?
It's always exhausting to play those guys. They make you work. There's multiple actions on nearly every play. They're so good at running their offense. They're so good at counters. They're so good at ATOs. They're a tough team to play.
What's it been about this stretch of games here that's coming up, on the road especially, because you got 3-1 record so far on this. Can you talk about just how well it seems to be going for you right now as a team against some very tough competition?
I think just taking it a game at a time and not really getting caught up in how many games or who we're playing. I think once you really settle in and focus on one team at a time and really buy into what we're doing each day and each game, it's easier for us to really come out and be prepared instead of really looking at, as a 10-game span or whatever it is, or a long road trip, because it will be tiring. But, it's the NBA.
Landry, just talk about, again, called upon to make some key plays, some big shots, and doing so as a rookie in this situation, just how nice is it when you maybe they kind of come through like that?
Feels good, obviously, anytime, you can contribute. I just try to, stay ready, listen to coaches, and be ready to do my job, whatever that may be, which can change from night to night. So I just, I just try to always have the same mindset, same approach every game. And tonight I kind of, got the call a little bit down the stretch, and guys put me in good positions, and I just tried to, just continue to do what I do.
Overall, from the standpoint of the team tonight, when the Spurs made runs, it seemed like they try and put the game away. You guys able to answer back as a unit. And just talk about that poise you guys showed, not just in the final part of the game, and also that last stretch in the fourth quarter there.
Yeah, I thought we had really good resolve anytime they made a run. I think it was Corey that said something after one of the timeouts when they went up, I think 10 or something. But he said, all right, they made their run, let's make ours. So, we had plenty of time. We felt like good players. They were making tough shots. And we had a couple breakdowns, but, that's the NBA. There's runs. So I think we did a good job staying level-headed and continuing to claw back.
What did you think made them so hard to guard for most of the game?
Well, they can put a lot of different lineups out there. Like they ended the game with the kind of the 4-guard lineup. When they go with LaMarcus, Rudy, and DeMar at the 3, 4, and 5, it's tough to guard. There's a big, really talented 3, 4, and 5 that can fill it up and score. So, but they can throw a lot at you. They shoot the 3-ball really, really well when you draw too much to DeMar and Rudy and LaMarcus and stuff. So they can do a lot of different things.
Landry, where do you feel like you're at with the defensive concepts? Tonight you got into passing lanes a few times. Seems like things are starting to click on that.
Yeah, I think I felt better off the ball tonight, guarding. It's been a growing process, trying to continue to not only learn our kind of base defense and what we want, but also the changing from game to game and scouting reports and how we're defending certain guys and all this stuff, and it's, you know, you have a day in between to prepare, so it's been a challenge, but I think, you know, I got, you know, good coaches, good teammates all talk to me and believe in me, so I'm making progress.
How long has that corner three been so comfortable for you? I mean, is that something in high school, college, or is it just something that's developed over time?
I don't know, I feel comfortable kind of anywhere. Like if, you know, if I'm open and, you know, Ben's putting it on the money to me, I feel comfortable. But corner threes, I mean, they just, any shooter will tell you it's kind of just a little nook. You just feel good over there.
Thanks, Landry.